Welcome back. We're here track reviewing a new track that BoshyWashy has made called Veltrix. He said that it's about 128 Laptime, and then that it's made for overtakes and probably makes CBA. That there's a time trial, long version, and a short version for racing. So I guess we'll track review. I just looked over it briefly, and then decided, hey, I should probably restart recording because it was a lot of just me saying nothing, so here we are. But yeah, so I have asked if he's tested the boat taps, because if he hasn't, then he's gonna need to and probably rebalance accordingly. For now, we'll act on the assumption that they all work. I may point out that oh, yeah, I don't know. The heck is this, a cat? Wait, what's this? Okay. So let's count boat taps. So we got like one. One. I'm just gonna hold on. Okay, we're back. But my count is kind of like 7-ish boat taps, maybe. I'll just briefly touch on them. So here's one. I mean, okay, 7 by my count. I might be missing something, but there's a mirror split. Wall tap. This is a 2 question marks. I'll come back to that. 3. And 4. Very similar to the one that we just looked at. Then we got 5 here. The blocks up on the inside. I'm gonna get back to that. 6 again with the blocks up. Not as easy it looks like, but yeah. And then 7. And this is a fairly common kind of boat tap. Yeah. So I guess I'll just briefly touch on all of them. This one seems okay. Like you'll probably want to approach from the right, hit it, have some velocity this way. I'm not sure if you actually get in tandem from this. I guess we'll assume that you do. In which case, sure, I guess. It does kind of suck that you spend so long building speed. Like, the thing is, like, I guess we don't have many tracks out there that answer the question, is there ever too many overtaking mechanics on the track, right? Oh, I like the pit thing, that's cool. Although I know for a fact people are all just gonna like do this, hug the side as long as possible to not have to deal with backdays or checkerboard. Yeah. Anyways, we don't have a track that really answers that question of like, is there too much? I mean, like, okay, well, I mean, like, there's some that like have like 3 or something, but like, you know, like 7 boat taps, is that like too much, right? Maybe this would be the one to do that. So, like the effects in gameplay, right? Like, for example, let's say that you're in tandem, right? And you're like, okay, let's say that you're driving behind someone, okay, and then you get the boat tap, and now you're in tandem, right? And then, you know, a few turns go by, and like you get pushed out, and you're no longer in tandem. But then there's immediately another boat tap for you to just get back in tandem. And then this keeps happening, where you keep losing tandem, and you keep re-entering tandem, and then like, you just stick to them like glue, right? And then it's like, you're just allowed to sit there. Like, is that, like, that's something that can maybe possibly happen, right? It's not like, I don't think that's like a crazy thing to be like, to think, right? That it's a possible outcome of having so many boat taps everywhere, right? And then comes the question, do we want racing to look like that, right? How does this affect racing, and is this something that people want? So, just because the track has a lot of overtaking mechanics, like, might not mean that it's just better, right? But that being said, we haven't seen a track with 7 boat taps before. 7 question marks boat taps before. So, not sure if what I said is going to be an issue, etc. Setting aside that, sorry, I was saying this because, like, you gave yourself such a long straightaway, but then you just put it all into a wall tap, right? So that's a lot of track time. This probably takes, like, at least, like, 8 seconds or something to drive the whole way through. Which, yeah, it's on the start-finish straight, but, like, you know, it's still 8 seconds, right? That's still a huge chunk to your lap time. And then you just give them a wall tap, which is a lot easier. Like, you know, hard braking corner, which, I mean, I guess once you drive straight long enough, you'll, like, your speed will kind of plateau, right? Like, it'll, like, hit, like, 68, and, like, 5 seconds there, I'll hit 69 meters per second, and 5 seconds there, I'll hit like 70, right? And then at that point, like, you know, starting to brake on a straightaway when your speed's at 67 meters per second compared to 71 is not that big of a deal. Like, not big of a change, right? Sure. But like, you know, it could be a missed opportunity that you can instead just like make them try to take the corner normally, and like, you know, they might go a little bit wide and do something like that, right? I haven't looked at the difficulty of the track yet, so I'm not going to comment on it yet, but like, if that is an issue, maybe consider removing the wall tap to force them, to force them to take the corner normally with all that entry speed, right? And you can maybe consider removing the tuning as well to punish them harder, if they miss. Or doing funky tuning, like making, like adding weird pack dice thing here, or something. Well, I don't know, that would lower the entry speed, but like, you know, you don't really see like blue ice straight and then chunk the pack dice and go back to blue ice, right? Or like, you need to like something like this or something, right? Like put the end of it closer, right? Because then like it'll be like, okay, now that you're like breaking on pack dice, now they're like getting used to that, and then you swap them back to blue, and like, you know, that could be a little mix up. I did that like in Canada in FC1 tuning, but I haven't seen it too much, so I don't know. You can mess around with that if you want to. Again, that's assuming that this boat tap is not needed, and you need to increase difficulty, which I haven't looked at yet. Then the second one, I don't think this is a boat tap, but like it really shouldn't, because like the gap between the wall and the apex is too big. I don't know if you intend this to see. Then there's also a shortcut. I don't know the numbers on it. Like, you have a wall tap on both sides, so you actually like probably doesn't save too much. I haven't actually tried it either, but like, you have weird wall priority stuff going on right here, which the more I like look at wall priority, the more I'm like, it's kind of luck based, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh yeah, bud. Slash boat in single player. We love it. Why am I trying this? I don't have to try this yet. Okay, alright. That's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, I doubt this works. If it does work, that's actually, like, there's no way, man. There's no way. Because, like, the ghost is going to be, like, right here. Like even if you boat tap them, like, right here, like, you have, like, no room. You have to go like this, like, straight line it this way. And then once you clear the apex, then you can start turning in. And, like, yeah, no, I really doubt it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but yeah, I doubt it. Then you have this. I don't even know this is meant to be a boat tap. Like, I think it's possible. I guess it's probably going to go something like this. So you might, honestly, I could see people hitting too early and then, like, missing this wall. Yeah, this might not be a boat tap. I put a question mark. I put a question mark if I don't know if it's meant to be one, and if it is, I put it if I don't know if it's meant to be one, and if it is one, then I'm not sure if it'll work. If he tests it thoroughly and it actually does work, then, you know, that's cool. That's awesome. Oh, this is a boxed up too. Okay, let's see. I wish I knew the numbers, like how much slower or faster is it to go for this box top compared to like doing the wall tap, right? This looks like a boat tap because like how long the wall is. You can probably hit them like as a wall tapping here, like there goes to be right here, and then you hit them and then you go there, right? I'm not sure if this will work. I mean, yeah, again, we have to act on something that does work. I guess we will later. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it works. Maybe it does. I'm not gonna waste that. You know what? I'm just gonna move on. There's so much. This is so much that to talk about. 5. I put asterisk here because there's a block stop, and I'm not sure how that's gonna interact. Same here. All of the block stops a bit harder. And then there's a 7th one, which is like Valkahala, Cosmic Ocean, that kind of wall tap, where you have a sub wall tap driving straight on, and then like, yeah, drive straight on, and then, yeah. So, as you can see, there are a lot of possible boat tap spots, right? Assuming that I marked all of them correctly, like they're all like actually boat taps. Like, if this might not be a boat tap, but like, this might be a boat tap attempt. And assuming also that they all work. And honestly, like, okay, of the 7 of them, if 5 of them don't work, I don't think that's the end of the world. At least you still have boat taps that work, right? So, I mean, if all 7 of them don't work, then that's a shame. But, I mean, yeah. So, like I said earlier, if a consequence of having too many boat taps per unit time, or like per lap, if you want to say it like that, is that people stick together like glue a lot more. And that's a bad thing, then I guess take that into account. And like I said, also, we don't have many tracks to actually, like, see if that's an issue. Like, we haven't, like, run into that issue, I think, yet. I think. We might have, actually. I mean, I don't know. It also, like, depends on, like, race pace difference, right? Like, if someone's race pace is just slightly slower than someone else, then even if there's only one boat tap on the whole track, they might just stay close enough anyway, just to get back in tandem. We saw this as an issue with, like, DRS, actually. DRS was an issue with that, and, like, I don't think there's that many DRS zones per track, or, like, per lap. Like, some tracks might have, like, 2 or, like, maybe even 3. And, of course, that's a lot more cut and dry, and, like, okay, you just have to stay behind them and you can outspeed them on a straight. It's, like, not as skilled as, like, actually boat tapping, at least in a lot of boat tap scenarios. Like for boat taps, you only have to predict, like, it's calculate the trajectory of their ghost and match it, right? But with, like, you know, DRS, you kind of just, like, have to drive around them. I say that for most boat taps. Some boat taps, like Clouds of Goshen, you can literally just drive straight on, and, like, that's it. And it's, like, it should be, like, free. Assuming that you have the right spacing going into it and stuff, right? And assuming that the track builder is not incompetent. Cough, cough. Laser. Cough, cough. Right? But, yeah. So, that's, like, the main issue that I'm concerned about regarding this track for, like, overtaking. And I think that I would love for a track to venture into that, like, unknown land of, are there, like, hey, is there too many overtaking mechanics, or overtaking opportunities, and then to get an answer to that question, right? So yeah. Okay. What do I even normally say? Like, okay, like, I normally point out the overtaking mechanic. I could talk about counterplay. The thing is, like, it's, like, totally valid if you don't want counterplay. It literally just comes down to, like, what kind of race you want to make, and, like, because, like, you know, a track with counterplay, on their overtaking mechanic means that it's a lot more, like, there's more focus put on, like, driver versus driver interaction and, like, mind games and stuff, right? Versus just cut and dry, no counterplay, you're just gonna get overtaken, or, you're just gonna get, yeah, I guess overtaken, like, put in tandem with the guy behind you. Be careful with too many containers. It can be bad for performance. I'd recommend swapping these out for a different kind of block. Containers include, like, cauldrons, chests. Shit ton of banners is really bad. Shit ton of player heads is really bad. A bunch of shulker boxes is also not super great. So yeah, be careful about, like, cauldrons. And anvils, I think, also aren't super great. I think they're a lot less bad, but yeah. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so I mean, like, it comes down to what kind of race you want. If you want to make a race that's, like, more focused on, like, mind games, then yeah, having counterplay is good. And, like, mind games, interactions, like, not just falling behind someone and, like, you know, yeah. But if you want it to be more like that, then sure, that's also fine. So yeah, I'm not gonna break down, here's how you can implement counterplay in every single boat tap on this thing, even the ones that might not even work. I'm not gonna do that. What do I even normally talk about? Like, if I look at a track and, like, okay, here's an overtaking mechanic, make sure it works, and that's it. I mean, normally it points out, hey, this track doesn't have any overtaking mechanics, so if you want it to be used for high-level racing, you should add one. But very clearly, this track has overtaking mechanics, so, like, I think we could just move on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, just, like, make sure they all work. Either test with your friend or use motion capture. Motion capture allows you to record and play back your movements. Wow, that's just what it says. That's So you could like record yourself driving and then save it and then play it back and then like try a boat tap off of it and stuff, right? You'll want to do like set interpolation 10 true to make it like normal interpolation. I'd recommend that over using friends, because then you have to take up their time and then they might not drive how exactly you want. Albeit, if you do it with friends, you're gonna have more variance on how they approach the corner and how they drive, right? And that might be good for more practical testing. For more like just making sure it works in theory, like just making sure like stupid proofing it, like actually like, oh yeah, you can actually get antenna from it. Motion capture is great. But yeah, I mean, of course, testing with friends to make sure like it works, like like you can actually react to the line. And stuff like that, and actually hit the boat tap, right? That's also pretty good, pretty important, I think. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna move on. How long has it been? 15 minutes, that's insane. Alright. Let's look at difficulty. So, like, it seems moderately difficult. I mean, like, okay, there's a shortcut, that might be kind of hard. If you do actually hit the wall too early, you do kind of just, like, fly, which is neat. So it's not like the wall just continues out to like here and then you just hit the wall for free, so there's like no risk, right? So that's good. Can be considered that. The thing is, with the abundance of outside wall taps, like outside wall taps are honestly pretty easy. Like okay, like exception of like oh yeah, like super thin wall taps, sure, but like wall taps like this, wall taps like this, and so on. You kind of just like drive straight into it and like you're good, and like you don't lose, like there's not much time variance from like wall taps doing it slightly wrong, like it's not that punishing. So for difficulty's sake, the huge amount of outside wall taps might hurt the difficulty and might make it a lot easier. That's not going to be as big of a deal for like League C, but for League A double drivers, it's going to be pretty significant. Especially again, like I said, with like the whole theory of like too many, like so many overtaking spots leading to people sticking to each other like glue. If the difficulty's lower, then people aren't going to spread out as much, so they're going to stick together a lot more. So yeah, keep that in mind, I guess. I could see people doing a jump skip here. It's very possible. So other barriers? I recommend not using barriers. Yeah, I don't know. You can probably figure out another solution to this, because I think people can just actually just jump over. Like, get lucky with the thing and just jump over and then rip. Yeah. This doesn't seem super easy. Never mind. That's pretty easy. Okay. Do I have boat killer? No. And then chicane. Chicane doesn't actually look that easy. Although, you do have to break it a lot, so maybe... Like, if you have to break it a lot, then you're lower speed, which means that you don't get as punished. Like, you have more time to react, typically. Yeah, that's not super hard. And then... Here, you have a block stop. I'd recommend not using, like, a white... Like, I know it's not, like, the same color as snow, but it's still not super easy to see. I recommend, like, using something else. Yeah. Block stops from racing tracks, especially, like, if they're mandatory, aren't super great because they hurt with following. Like, they're one of the few examples of, like, you actually just get punished for following. Because, like... I can show you the chart, but, like, in more cases than not, you get held up by this, like, just because of, like, how interpretation works. Yeah. There is a wall tap. I don't know the numbers. I don't know if it's faster than block stop or wall tap. I'd imagine it's probably faster than block stop. And especially if there's boat tap possibly here. But, like, honestly, oh man, they guarded against my boat tap attempt. Oh no, now I can't boat. Oh wait, there's another boat tap right here. And oh wait, there's another one 2 corners later. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold them off for another whole lap by not by not wall tapping and block stopping instead. That's not gonna be a thing. Yeah. So I don't know the numbers on this. So, but yeah, like I said, just block stops aren't super great. Like hard block stops like this, at least for following. I don't know if this is a block stop. It doesn't look like one. Like, I mean, of course, you can block stop any block ever, but like. Okay, well, yeah, that wasn't the greatest, but yeah. I don't think it's as bad. I don't know. Like, yeah, of course. It's full blue over here, so you want to fly wide. But the thing is, you have a really bad corner here, and then this is like, okay, maybe you want to hug the inside. If you want to hug the inside, no one's just gonna block stop hard here, and then the same issue I just talked about. And then there's also the wall tap, which is possibly the boat tap. Like, this reminds me of green greens. Like, at least the two walls. Like, you have the main one, you have the second one. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know if wall tap's faster. Like, it might just be easier. Like, I don't know how consistent the block stop is. If it's not consistent, then it might just be better to get up from wall tap. I don't know. I typically don't like actually drive the track that much when I do track reviews, which is maybe something I should change. Yeah. But then, yeah, after that, so, sorry, we're talking about difficulty, right? So, you're at the screen's not too difficult. The block stop doesn't feel too difficult on, okay, well, I say feel. Doesn't look too difficult, I'd say. Even if it was, I'd imagine the wall tap isn't that much slower, if at all. I feel like a lot of the difference in time on a by that basis on this corner is going to be due to luck more than bad placement. No, actually, no, if you actually hit like the tip, like where I just hit it, that's a lot faster, I think. Okay. This is a bit precise, yeah. Okay, alright. That's not too bad. I don't like block stops just because like variance, and again, it just comes down to like what kind of race you want to make. If you like are fine with variance and luck, then that's fine. I'm not a big fan of it because like I think the fastest person should win, and like luck sometimes might make the faster driver lose, right? So, or get punished just because they're unlucky. So, yeah. So I don't like block stops for that reason, but I mean, yeah. I'm not sure how it's actually how much, because like I'm again like a League C driver, so maybe for League C drivers are like, that precision test right here will like, be a thing, but like for League A drivers, it might not even be a factor. It might just be like, oh yeah, we can just hit this like every single time. Then it just comes down to luck. Like they can place their boat in the right spot, but like it'll just come down to when it takes fire luck. Similar thing here, I guess. And again, that's just assuming that like the wall taps aren't faster, like the main route. Otherwise, I don't think this box stop's too hard. I think it's just mostly luck. Well, you can maybe position your boat in the right spot, I guess. Probably. Lag spike? What the fuck? That just been me. What the heck? That was way less than I thought. What the hell? What? I'm gonna go a lot more inside again. Okay, now that's the luck thing. Okay. Yeah. The same thing I said. No, the same thing I said earlier about just block stops in general. This might be a little more precise. I'm not entirely sure how this would work out, but yeah. Okay, I'm moving on. This doesn't seem too difficult, especially given the packed ice. I'm just gonna assume kind of like here, I guess. Yeah, no. Okay. And then you get the free wall tap and the free wall tap. Okay, yeah. So I think the difficulty is a kind of big issue. Um, for me, typically the two largest things are you have at least one valid overtaking mechanic, and then also the track is difficult enough to make the fast drivers be that much faster than the slow drivers, right? Like imagine like a race on Canyonland, for example. Um, Even if there was a boat tap on Canyonland, like everyone's going to be going about the same pace. Um, so compare that to like a difficult track where like the fast drivers going to be that much faster per lap than the slow drivers, right? Um, so those are like my main two things. This thing has a lot of boat taps. So like I mean it hits the bill for at least one overtaking mechanic, but I don't know if it has a difficulty, right? Um, there is a shortcut. I did hit it first try. I don't know actually how hard it is. I should probably just like start driving it while I'm talking. Um, but I don't even know how much faster it is. It seems a bit faster. Like maybe it's something that like the vegan drivers go for every lap. Maybe. Okay. That time loss isn't too bad, honestly. Nice. I need to auto vote killer. Hold on, let me try it again and set one up. Okay. Let me just. Okay, I made one. Alright. Okay. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overestimating the game drivers, but it feels, I think it would probably look at this somewhat consistently. Setting aside possible wall priority luck, which is something that we haven't looked into yet that much. But honestly, I would not be surprised if it becomes a big issue, and that would be very, very sad. It might be more of an issue than block stop luck, honestly, because you get flung somewhere depending on just like where your boat is in each tick. So yeah, I'm not gonna go into that much though. No, there is this. I actually tried this one yet. You're gonna want to make sure to test these splits, by the way, properly. Nah, it wasn't that fast. Because like the thing is, like I see that you did it. Oh, I have to talk about that. The entrances and exits are different, right? So the entrance favors going right, honestly, because like you're kind of like here. Because you're doing a chicane, and then like you're like here because you're barely missing this apex, and you're like lined up for this, right? So this entrance is faster, and then your exit, it might be no. I mean, like you get positive wall priority set up better here. If you swing wide here, then you get the positive wall priority here, which is probably what you want. And that's kind of just better. Because then, if you face your boat straight this way, it doesn't matter how quickly you get to this, as long as you get to this before you hit the end, right? Compared to going wide here and then having negative wall priority, so possibly missing, and then, you have way more speed, which honestly might make you miss this wall, and then even if you hit this wall faster, that's not that big of a deal, right? So, like, it seems like the right route is faster. Or at least better in terms of entry and exit. There is this, and I'm not sure how much you balance this, and like how much you tested this, right? I don't know how good of a driver BoshyWashy is. I kept saying you. I should maybe just keep saying BoshyWashy. There could like BC. So like if you have like friends like me, like just like much better driving friends, you should probably have them help you test these kinds of things out. Like I put hella time into labbing just because I'm like, I know I'm just bad. I know like I need to account for that, but putting like way more time in and like actually getting really good runs in. And I don't even know if I do a good job. Like I don't even think it's sufficient sometimes, right? So I think Bosch is probably around my level, maybe a little lower. I haven't been paying attention, but like yeah. So then the other big thing is like this. Like this is not super great because of how like each tick, from what I understand, each tick it calculates the friction based on where your boat is, right? So let's say like one tick right here and one tick right here. then you don't even like calculate it. Like it's like, okay, so it's all blue ice, and then it goes like forward a tick, and it's like, okay, now I'm on all normal ice, and like this just may as well does not exist, right? Compared to something like this, and then like now it's like, okay, I'm on all blue ice, and then it goes forward a tick. It's like, okay, now I'm like on like this, like off road, and then also like normal ice and also blue ice, and it's gonna slow down way more, right? Oh, and that's not super great. And also, like, you know, it depends on like if you hit like right in the middle versus like, or like right at like the edge of them versus like right here, right? And you know, okay, you can move your boat to be more precise or whatever, but like it's like the main issue is like it's not consistent, and that's not a super great thing to have. You've already decorated it, which does suck. Honestly, like if people want to track reviews, they should probably just send me the layout. Like they should send it to me before they decorate everything, because now if like you want to fix this issue, then now you have to do big changes to the track. You don't want to make the entrance like balance on both sides, right? And you don't want to make the exit balance on both sides. You can only really do that like with proper setup, and you don't have the space to do that without killing some of your decoration and having to refix it later, right? Which sucks. But yeah, no, this is not very good to do in tracks, just because, like, I mean, unless you're okay with variants. Like, if you're totally okay with it, and, like, it depends on, like, what you're trying to do, but I don't think most people like variants, so you're gonna get a lot of pushback for this, I will say. I keep saying you, whatever. But yeah, just, like, overall difficulty, like, okay, this might be not super easy, maybe. I'm gonna assume, like, starting from, like, here. But, like, that's still, like, just, like, one chicane of the whole track. And it's not... No, that's fine. No, that's totally fine. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, so I think the largest issue for the track, other than the possible too many overtaking spots thing, is the difficulty, right? Like I said, people are going to stick to each other like glue. Even if there was only one overtaking spot, I think. At least the League A drivers will. League C might be more spread out. But, yeah. And League B is probably gonna maybe not like be in the middle. Maybe it will be in the middle. I'd say League B will probably also stick to each other a good amount. Probably. I haven't looked too much into like League B drivers and stuff, but yeah. So that's difficulty. I'd say it's not the best. Like there is like, you know, iron bar wall tap and shortcut. But like other than that and like, you know, like block stop luck, it's not too difficult, I'd say. I say that having hardly driven the track, by the way. So I could be wrong about that. I should probably just drive. I don't know. You know what? I'll do a few laps. I'll do a few laps at least, and I'll unpause. So how about that? Let's just do that. You know what? I'll just drive. You can run, like, if you want to skip, you can just skip ahead. But yeah. It might be good for the track photo to see how, like, what my first lines that I take are and stuff like that. I'm gonna wall tap here. Okay. The block stop's probably, like, it depends on what kind of block stop you get, but like, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be that much faster, I think. And then wall tap, I think ideally, like, the track bar wants you to do that line where you stay on the checkerboard. Oh right, I have music going. Hopefully it wasn't too loud. Okay. And yeah, you just... It's super wide too, yeah. Yeah, missing that. I do normally go left, actually. Oh, what the... That wasn't that spike. Huh. Single player gets crazy. I think it was a back spike. God damn it, I think... You have to travel a bit further by going right. That was another back spike. What the... Ah! Yeah, okay. I forgot about that. I forgot about the off-road strip. I totally missed, yeah. Okay. I do want to comment on the bump control in a bit. Man, I keep getting back spikes. That's crazy. Try box stop here. That box stop is pretty easy. No comment on consistency. I haven't driven it yet enough. Driven it yet enough. insane grammar. I'll try to block stop here. Okay. That was a pretty good one. I'll try to block stop here. Hey, yeah, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's just a lot faster. Yeah, you're probably gonna want to test that a bit. I should make. Honestly, I should make one of the questions like when people ask me to track review, I should have a set of questions that I need them to like have answers for, like before I start. Like, have you actually tested all the boat taps and stuff thoroughly with friends and or motion capture? What are the numbers for shortcuts? Like, how much time you gain and lose by doing a shortcut, and what are your success rates at it? And also, whatever I was thinking. Alright. Yeah, so short-term memory goes crazy. That 3. Also, of course, like, you know, what do you want? This, like, what's your goal with this track? Like, what kind of drivers you want? Like, what you want? Oh, what the fuck? That's insane. You want chaotic racing? You want like competitive? Like what kind of race do you want to make? Because if I know like what your goal is, then I can give my thoughts on how well you meet that goal, right? But if I don't know what your goal is, I can like impose my own like ideas of what the track, like what competitive racing should look like. But that's not like, that might not be what you want. That might not like match what you, like what you want me to talk about. And, like, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Like, I have been driving it. I haven't been paying too much attention, but like, I haven't like. Nothing is grabbing my attention as being super difficult. Yeah. I hope I remember to talk about bump control. Albeit, I mean, oh, there's some spots. Like, I feel bad for, like, wait a second. Wait a second. Well, I just did. Oh, if this is intentional, that'd be crazy. Miss the shortcut. You don't fall all the way back there. You just go like this. You're now a boat tap. Like, this is a boat tap now. I went out to like here. This would be like really good. So then you hit them. Like, I mean, it depends on how you enter, but like you can hit them and have some exit speed. Like, that might be crazy. That might get crazy. Of course, just doing the shortcut instead of boat tapping is probably just faster. Like, it's probably way faster to do the shortcut than boat tap. But I mean, I don't know. If you're setting up a wall tap and you see that they're about to mess up and do that, then maybe, I don't know. That's cool. Anyways, yeah, no, it doesn't seem like the track's too difficult, which, yeah, I already said about, my thoughts on why. Let me just do this real quick. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about bump control, right? So here, I like how, there's some thought put into it, right? Like, okay, if you miss, then you have this wall, and then you start driving, right? The thing is though, like, if you're here, then you start cutting across, right? Because you're not gonna like go out to this wall, like you're gonna cut straight this way. Now someone like goes for the wall tap, and your ghost is like right here, and you just kill them, right? And now they're just sitting right here with 0 speed, and someone behind them goes for the wall tap, hits it, and then they get bumped here, and now you have a giant pile up, right? My goal, like, I think some people like are like, oh yeah, bump control is just to make them lose less time than if they like, okay, if there wasn't a wall here, then you just fly wide and lose even more time. And like, I understand like why you would think that's like the main thing about bump control, and like, you can do bump control with that being the main focus. But my main focus when I do bump control is eliminating, like, lowering chaos, right? Like I'm controlling where you bump to, so that you don't rejoin right in front of other people where they can't react and have very limited options, right? To reduce chaos. Because I think that chaos and unpredictability means, like, you can just get affected by luck. And I already said earlier, luck is not something I'm super fond of for competitive racing, because I don't think it should come down to luck. So in this case, like, I like that you tried something, but, like, people are just going to cut right across, and then they're just going to get in the way of other drivers. So that's something to maybe reconsider. There are various solutions you can do, like having a pitfall that they have to fall into and they have to drive around or something. A reset region, you can mess around. If you're open to it, you can use boat utils. You can use like water bubble column stuff to put them up above, and then they can drive across or something. I don't know. Oh, more cauldrons. Yeah. And then, like, that's not the only spot where, like, the bump control wasn't super great. There's no bump control here, so if someone falls in, it's gonna, like, re-enter right on the apex, which is not super great either. And we talked about, like, block stop stuff. Like, if someone messes up in the block stop and they mow for too long, then the person behind them can just not do much about it either. Yeah. It might have been, like... here. Ah! What's that? Ah! I'm just not gonna talk about that. Unless it's intentional. I really doubt it. Of course, people re-entering here. I don't think it's probably that big of a deal for people re-entering it from here. Yeah. But yeah. So just like in general, just keeping that in mind. If you want chaos, then sure, this is great. But I imagine you probably don't want chaos. It might have been here. If they mow or fall, or really just fall in, then they re-enter. Like, it depends on like where they go. I don't know how you mess this up. Like, the thing is, like, okay, I was in the middle of saying this. I feel bad for possibly making people think that you need to have bump control everywhere. Because now, if that were the case, if you had to have bump control everywhere, then becoming a track builder, or being a track builder becomes that much harder, because now everywhere, you have to, like, lab out, like, you have to have stuff you labbed out, like, the entire track. Like you have to think through, okay, where are they going to bump? And how do I make them re-enter? You have, like, a bajillion routes everywhere, and it's so much harder. But in reality, if you have a corner like this, then no one's ever going to mess up. You do not need bump control on this corner, right? So, like, I hope that people don't think that they need to put bump control everywhere. That's a tangent. Kind of. If no one is ever going to mess up this corner, then you might not need bump control. That being said, I'm dumb as hell. That's not the only way you can get bumped. Of course, it's in the name. Bump control. If you get bumped here, like, you might never mess up. Like, you might never, like, accidentally fall into the water here. But you might get bumped here, right? And you might get bumped into here. So in that case, you have velocity this way. I'd imagine you probably, like, we can just, like, simulate it like this. Okay. Yeah. Oh! You need to put light blocks or something over these, or else you will get stuck in there, and then you'll have to wait. Now, okay, if you're in 1.1.5 or later, then you're just cooked regardless. Because, like, even if you, like, put it over, then it's still not gonna, yeah. No updates. Bonk. There we go. Yeah, so you don't want to do that for, like, all the water bubbles stuff. You re-enter here. Right? Okay. There's no such back in single player. Here. We'll just, like, say like this. I don't have, like, roughly that much velocity in that direction. Something like this. Yeah, that's a pretty smooth thing, unless you get bumped, like, here, and then you hit this on the way down, and then you have to, like, go like this. You are pretty offline. Like, the line's, like, here, and then, like, you're, like, here, so you're pretty off, but then you'll rejoin pretty quickly. You'll probably maybe go, like, the blue, and then, like, cross over. You'll eventually cross over, right? I don't think the speed difference is too high, maybe. It's probably okay. Yeah, and it depends on, like, you know, which route they go. If they hug left, then you being more on the right isn't the big of a deal. I think the bump control is probably okay here. One thing I didn't notice until just now, possibly block stop luck on the chicane. Rather than brake to make it through like this, it might just be better to literally just plow through the off-road and like have that slow you down. Like, that was a bit extreme, but like, you know, I didn't brake at all there. I kind of just like drove right into it. So if you like find a sweet spot as the driver, finds a sweet spot like that, might just be faster than like braking, right? Because of how spread out these apexes are, like this one and this one, and how it's like a 45-degree turn. It's not like you're just like driving straight into it, like you're coming at an angle, right? So that might not be great, because now, again, it can come down to luck, like how much off-road you get, like you hit. I have a resource pack on. Ah. Oh, yeah, so keep that in mind, I guess. That might not be super great. I'm being... Oh, hi, look. Yes. Okay. Yeah, anyways, so... Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, we can probably move on. I talked about the bump control. Yeah. Okay. Race starts is next. Okay. The grids are pretty tight. Like, at the start, you'll probably have to, like, dodge the person in front of you. And you'll definitely get in tandem with the front row in front of you. Maybe it also might be kind of close here. I don't know if you actually get into the tandem with the row, 2 rows in front of you. I doubt it. But yeah, it'll be chaotic. And again, like I've been saying, it comes down to what kind of race you want. If you want chaotic race starts, then sure. The long straight means that if you get bumped like here, you lose so much speed. So you're gonna lose a lot of time if you get bumped like later down the straight. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of chaotic race starts. So then, okay, let's look at turn 1. I don't know. Like, this isn't something I've looked into very much, but like, giving people wall taps or like alternate lines on race starts that like cross back together very soon. I don't know how good that is. Cause like the thing is, if everyone's taking the same line, then everyone should have roughly the same speed and direction, right? But if you introduce an alternate line, then now you have 2 different lines with 2 different speeds, people crossing over each other. Like, you know, like if the main line goes like, something like this, like just for example, or like, you know, like the non-wall tap line, then you have people wall tapping, like going across here and possibly bumping the people slowing down, right? Or, you know, they drive through and then like their ghost drives through someone who's braking right here and then they get stopped right here, right? And then you come back and you have different speeds on exit too, so you're gonna outspeed people here. You know, you're gonna like outspeed people, and it's like, oh wait, no, I had to slow down or else I'll hit them. And then you let go of W, and the person behind you doesn't realize you're about to let go of W, and they bump into you, and now there's more carnage, right? Like, I haven't looked into it too much, but like, I don't think this is too unreasonable to like imagine, right? Like, sure, like if this wall tap wasn't a thing and like everyone was just taking this line, it's like not great either, right? Because I mean, I think I'm coming to the conclusion that race starts are always just cat shit, but like. Everyone taking the same line. I can understand why we don't want everyone taking the same line. I understand like why people would think that, but like honestly, it might be more chaotic to have alternate lines, depending on how it's done at least. Because like here, like okay, if you didn't cross over here, but instead you were to just keep going straight, I don't know, because then you. Like, if your line was to avoid people going the other line, that was, like, the natural line to take. what I'm trying to say is, like, if you can do it in such a way that the two lines don't interlap over each other very much, and that you have the two lines separated for long enough, and that you let them re-enter at similar enough speeds and, like, directions, then it might be okay. It might be something worth looking into and, like, giving people more options. But just, like, that's, like, not, like, that's something you probably have to, like, put engineering focus into. Like, you can't just, like, it might happen by chance, but, like, probably not very likely, right? Probably it's more likely like something like this happens, where like this is like a bunch of overlap and like the lines come back together really quickly, and then there's like difference in speeds and like, you know, yeah. So, but yeah, so maybe I don't know. It's something I'm probably want to look into, and I say that, and I'm not gonna look into it because I'm. I should. I really should. I understand I should, but like I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't think I'm ever gonna understand race starts. I think I'm just cooked. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so that's turn one, and then you throw them into a chicane, and then you give them splits. So like the chicane typically, like, so you have a left, then a right, right, and left rights aren't super great because then, you know, someone like says, okay, I'm gonna go wide, and then. Okay, now I'm wide, and now I avoided the apex, but now I have a right turn coming up, so now I have to cross over, and everyone else is going to be going something like this, right? Something like this. Right? And then you're out here, and then it's like, okay, now I have to, like, cross over the line with my different, first off, trajectory, second off, speed components. So, like, I'm not going to be going the same speed as them, probably, or at least not in the same direction. So I might get bumped here as I cross over. And if I want to go wide, then, like, you know, I definitely have to cross over. Or, you know, you can just, like, kind of just go like this and wait as long as possible to cross over until you're at the apex, and then, like, now you super limited your options. Like, so typically, like, left rights and stuff at, like, race starts is something I try to avoid. The thing is, eventually you're gonna have to do it. You can only turn so far left until you make a loop. So like you're gonna have to eventually turn right. But yeah. So maybe like I don't know, another couple turns. Again, like race starts. I hate race starts. I don't yet have a solid opinion on like how much people should be spreading out during a race start. Like the rate at which they spread out, I don't have a solid grasp on yet. Because like race starts, like engineering race starts is a balance of like how quickly do you spread people out. Because like okay, if you don't spread them out at all, like if you give them like really easy corners, right? Then they might, you know, settle in a little bit, but like they're not gonna spread out that much. Although I guess I don't know, if they're so close together, then that's just bumps waiting to happen. But when you spread them out too quickly, then it's like, well, what's causing them to spread out? It's probably things like, actually, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I gotta move on, man. I gotta move on. I should really figure out race starts before I do track reviews. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. I'm sorry if it wasn't, but yeah. Pit entry and exit. Pit entry, like I said earlier, people are probably just gonna like go on the blue ice, which is probably okay. It's probably okay. It might not. I'm just saying that because you might expect them to go on here, but no, they're probably just gonna go here. That's what I would do instinctively. I think that's what people would do. But otherwise, I think it's probably okay. Like you don't like suddenly brake to enter the pit here. Like you're not like slowing down super hard right on the line to enter the pit. You just kind of like turn into it. That should be fine to like not have people bumping. And then the exit, throwing them right into a chicane. They're well off the line for this apex, but like right here, you're gonna make them cross over again. Perhaps. I don't know. They don't have the most exit speed either. Although they're kind of not at a great angle in a way. I can see some collisions happening here. Because, like, they gotta, like, turn, like, what I just did. They're gonna kind of be, like, right out of the line, but, like, lower speed, so. Yeah, I can see some collisions happening here. You might want to revise where people come out and how much exit speed they have. I say that as if the track isn't all completely decorated and, like, which, by the way, I want to say the decoration looks phenomenal. Like, I really like how this looks. You know, like, the color palette, I like these trees, these are fucking sick. I like the tunnel, I like the big buildings. I don't know what's going on. This probably isn't finished, is it? I doubt that you just want to make it outline. And then the ground probably isn't finished. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'd imagine it's like a placeholder thing. I like this. This reminds me of BCC a bit. I mean, of course, like, you know, like, yeah. I don't think that's that big of a surprise. I like the glass, like, overhang here. I like this a lot. Again, kill the cauldrons, but, like, yeah, like, this looks phenomenal. I just want to say that. I like it so far. It doesn't look finished, yeah, because, yeah, this is probably gonna be, like, this is probably a placeholder block, but yeah. And you probably also, I'd imagine you might want to do stuff out here. So maybe it's not too late to adjust things. But yeah, okay, let's put entry and exit. That's all the main things I normally talk about. Lap time is 128 by his count. Even if, like, a League driver pushes that to, like, a 124, 123, that is a bit on the longer side. And honestly, again, it comes down to what kind of race you want to create. If you want to create a race where people interact a lot, you know, it's like a lot of head-to-head action, a lot, like you're forcing people to interact, and then, like, forcing people to, like, okay, now I have to overtake this guy. I'm overtaking him. 10 seconds there. Now there's another guy I have to overtake, right? If you want, like, something like that, then a lower down time is good. If you want a track where you give people just space to, like, drive laps and just be fast without having to deal with people, then a longer down time is good. That being said, you made this track. Okay, just because you have a track that, like, has a bunch of overtaking spots does not mean that you want, like, oh yeah, I want to see a lot of overtakes. Maybe you do think that, but, like, it could also just be like, okay, I have given you a bunch of options so that you have options to immediately go to overtake people, to get past them, so you can just not deal with them. Which, that's also a possible thing, right? That being said, the track isn't too difficult, like I said earlier. I think isn't too difficult from, like, the laps I drove, barring, like, you know, the shortcut and, like, maybe the iron bar thing. Like, barring those, it seems pretty easy, so, like, I don't think that, like, you know, long lap time fatigue track is not, like, if you want to have, like, the whole long tracks that you don't have to deal with people, plus difficult tracks that you can show that you're that much faster, then that's cool. But I don't think this is that difficult of a track, so I don't know if you can really go for that. But yeah. Another thing about long lap times is that you give yourself more room to do cool things as a track builder. Midgar Remake would not have that last section if I really tried to push down the lap time. I did try to push it down, but I also, like, tried to do cool stuff. So, like, I increased the lap time by a few seconds just to do, like, that last section. Maybe, like, even by, like, 5 seconds longer, maybe. Maybe not 5 seconds, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, so, like, a longer lap time means you can do more cool stuff. What I wouldn't like to see is a long lap time. Well, okay, again, it comes down to, like, what you kind of want. But if you want a lot of interaction, well, I personally don't like seeing a long lap time where you don't do much, like, in that long section. Like if this were part of it, I haven't actually looked at this at all, but if this were, like, part of, like, the racing layout, then, like, not much is happening here, at least overtaking wise. I guess, like, this looks somewhat difficult, maybe. So, you know, like, at least it could help maybe with differentiating race pace, maybe. Again, I haven't looked into it that much, but, like, assuming it does, that's cool. But if it didn't, if this was all easy, it's just like, okay, you just tacked on 30 seconds and nothing's going to happen for those 30 seconds. Like, people are going to go faster than other people. You're not going to get overtakes. It's just going to be just sitting there for 30 seconds a lap, right? In that case, I'd be like, yeah, maybe you want to remove it. Again, this is the time trial part, so, like, what I said doesn't apply, but yeah. Yeah, okay. how long has this been going on for? An hour. That checks out. I was expecting like an hour 17 or some shit. I was like, I was ready for it. Yeah. I love yapping. Woo! Anyways, I think that's about it. If you have any questions, Boshy, just let me know. Or if anyone has any questions, just leave a comment or DM me or something. I can try to give my thoughts. I love these trees. Like, oh my god. Like, I love the gradient. It's so good looking. Oh my goodness. Like, just like looking at them like from up here, it looks so good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. If I would like to see this track be a bit more difficult, because then we can like use it in the like. You can of course you can throw this in the gay and you can do your A race on it, right? I don't know if I'd use it for Summit just because I don't think the track's difficult enough, and I'm also not sure if I would vouch for it to be used for Summit if I didn't know the repercussions of having so many overtaking mechanics, right? Like if I knew that having a bunch like 7 overtaking mechanics is actually okay, then I'd be more open. But like if I don't know what it's gonna do, that might just be opening us up to like having like a pretty bad race, right? A pretty bad experience. So I'm not sure if I'd vouch for this for Summit right now. But if you make it more difficult, then at least you can see it be used in other leagues and see the effects of having a bunch of overtaking mechanics. I would really like to see that. So like if you can really, I'm down to vouch for this track to be used in like things like BWC because like I want to see what a track like this would do. I'd also recommend making the track more difficult because I think that would just help for like things like League A. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. Track looks phenomenal. Man, I wish I could like say a summary, but like I'm really bad at those, and there's like a lot. So I'm not gonna. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye. Bye bye.